Howdy fellas, Frankie Day back again on YouTube. Fellas, this evening on YouTube I have a new series of videos I'll be doing along with group builds and builds I'll be doing myself. This is going to be finishing up old projects. I'm starting a new series of videos, and starting out with this one here. This is a card model made out of paper, built from scratch using plans from Edward Westwesser. He was an early United States Navy draftsman. He drew all kinds of plans for models, for ship model plans, and his drawings are very much of a must for the collector in mind. Most of his range scale is either a 364 scale and 192 scale, which are very small scales. But I have these plans blown up at Office Max about 6 years ago. I started this about 6 years ago. It needs to be finished up. This is the late great Battleship Iron Duke. This Admiral Jellicoe's flagship he used in the Battle of Jutland during the First World War. The Battle of Jutland is most decisive and the most last history. It was the last of the war of the battleships. That was a great war between battleships, and from 30 years after World War I, when World War II was inevitable to be started, late Admiral Kimmel, that was the commander of Pearl Harbor, always dreamt of having another battleship war, and had no foresight at all in aviation and aircraft carriers. He was more or less interested if we ever had a war with Japan or any other nation, the battleship would solve it all. But December 7th, 1941, ended the era of the great battleships. So battleships were actually restricted to only doing one thing, fellas. It's called shore bombardment. That's all they were good for throughout the whole Second World War, and done their jobs well. So the Battle of Jellicoe was the Battle of Jutland was the last of the great battleship wars done from the Germans and the English, and the English pummeled the Germans because England always rules the sea. This is on a scale of 1/200, leaving the model length of 43 inches and 43 inches and 3/8 inches long. Made entirely out of paper, made out of cracker boxes, cereal boxes, any kind of boxes I get my hands on. It's all out of cardboard, folks. So all these finish up old project builds I'll be doing. We're starting out with the Battleship Iron Duke. This is the World War I dreadnought, fellas. You look at some of our dreadnoughts that we had during Pearl Harbor, and even during the Washington Treaty Program back in 1921. Our battleships pretty much favored the English. So the English had some very, very well respected designs for their day. And this is a highly detailed model made out of paper, using plans. I'll zoom in a minute. You can take a look, see the fidelity of detail I put into this. In between group builds, I'll be doing this between group builds, and that's about it. So between group builds coming up and doing this, I'll be pretty well busy, and I'll probably start another build of my own if I want to do, and post that as well. So we got a long winter ahead of us, folks. So I'll be pretty well busy turning to on this and starting other builds. As we zoom in right there, you can see the 14-inch guns right there. They rotate. Right now, I think I left off on it. I always start, I did the fitting out. I put the cleats and the bits, the anchor windlass on there, the chain plates, the anchor chains installed. And also the ammo boxes, ready boxes, are all been installed on there. The turrets, bar bits have been installed. And the casement guns, I got to finish with the casement guns, so I like to finish up everything up forward to work out. Those right there, little cylinder objects below turret number 2, those are casement guns. They had vanilla file paper. And so they got to be installed and make the guns. I turn my guns using either I can use the wood dowel, or I can go ahead and use a series of tubing, different diameters. Use a draftsman pencil. I plated in the hull plates on the battleship, working aft. To get my head out of the way. There you go. You see the rudder and the 4 screws. And you had your gouge away, which is aft of the fantail. That's where they used to be a casement gun in there, but they closed off. The Iron Duke has been through at least 2 refits before it was actually stricken from the Royal Navy. and she also she appeared differently in her refits. The overall in particular's length was stem to stern. She's 619 feet long, displaying 37,000 tons. Her armament consists of 5-inch 25 casement guns. No anti-aircraft guns in this because they didn't have back in them days. There's a good close to the bow, and the main batteries are the 14-inch guns. And all the details done by using a draftsman pencil, and that's about it. It's painted. Most of it's been hand painted and everything, and airbrushed. So I can do some weathering on it when I finish up the model. It's about almost 3/4 finished. So I got to finish up the casement guns and go ahead and work midships, work to get the boat booms installed, make the lifeboats, to get the jolly boats, mike boats, and utility boats. All the boats fit right on top of the O2 level, which is aft behind the number 1 funnel. The fire control station, which is on the bridge, only had one. They didn't have the two like did the Arizona and the other conventional battleships that we had back in World War II. This is a World War I dreadnought, and that's all they needed. So they had the fire control station, which is up there forward at the top of the bridge. And it's a dandy model when it's done. It's made entirely out of paper. And it's a big model. And it's going to be a fun finish-up project. So last night, after I posted my last video I done on my F4 with a Speedy 197's group build, 1960 aircraft, I went ahead and got all my plans together for this. And also, there's Lord George right there, gave me a good salute, a thumbs up, and a stamp of approval. Boy, I tell you, that guy's something else. If we zoom back in again, I'll finish up the video and discuss a little more on this. So I got all my plans compiled together, all my parts and everything ready to go. I made a bunch of parts for it that I pre-made for it, installed on there. So I'm going to pick up after I left off was on the casement right there, the casement guns, and that's my port and starboard. Right there is Mr. Aviator, United States Navy. He's 1/32 scale. Just shows you the influence the size of this model compared to 1/32 scale. It's a big model. And it'll keep me busy for a while, so I got lots and lots of work to do on this. When I finish this thing up, it's going to look pretty real. I got some tuning up I got to do too, right behind the funnels. And my eyes always see something different. I miss. So it's always good to, when you guys build a model, a good rule of thumb and a good tip is, when you finish something, take your model, set it aside, and just look at it. Just keep staring at it as if you were into a trance. And the more you stare at it, you'll find parts that need to be done over again. And you find things that you did wrong on it, you can correct them. And you can see mistakes that you made as you go along. So us modelers are our own critics, are our own selves only. Okay, fellas, this kind of ends the video, my first video of finishing up old builds. And I'd like to say bye to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. May God bless and happy modeling. And stay tuned for my update on my F4C Phantom on Speedy 197's root build. Bye, boys. Take care, man.